Good morning, Mark Williams, personal trainer, mwpersonaltrainer.com. Today we're going to talk about calorie deficits. Now there's no doubt about it that if you want to lose fat, you have to create a calorie deficit. Now, the bigger that deficit is, the more weight you lose at the end of each week. Fat, not weight. But remember, we have to do this without plunging the body into famine mode and shutting the hormone systems down, which in turn creates a slower metabolism. So if we look at this graph, we've got our calories out column here. That's the energy that we've expended. Now, these are three individuals and that's their calories in. Okay, so this guy here, at the end of each week, he's going to have lost more fat than these two guys, because obviously he's created a bigger calorie deficit over the calories that he's taken in and the calories that he's expended. Makes sense? Now, as we discussed before, the problem is with that. In creating these big calorie deficits by taking hardly any calories in, we can then start to unbalance insulin and leptin. Now, in an ideal state, insulin and leptin are fairly steady. That's the body in a good fat burning mode. It's taken a lot of calories in and it's expended them, so the hormone levels stay happy. Again, what will happen if this fat loss attempt is attempted in the wrong way? This guy here, insulin, he's going to shoot way up there and leptin's going to go straight down there. Okay, so now that's the body now going into a fat storage mode, and that's where diet plateaus come in, and the end of your weight loss, as most people look at it on the scales, and zero fat loss, which is not good for any diet. Now, the dieting world is a minefield. It is such a fine line. You can see here, when you've got two equations to try and take care of the problems that it can cause. Obviously, people don't really have a problem when they enter into a diet and they just think, right, eat less. So they eat less, the body shuts down, as we've discussed before, in metabolism, and then that just causes insulin and leptin to come completely out of sync and shut the diet down. It's just, the margins for error with this are so minuscule, and this is why you have to try and get your fat loss attempts absolutely spot on to keep your hormone levels balanced, okay, so that you can keep losing fat. So how are we going to go about creating that calorie deficit without unsettling your hormone levels, leptin and insulin? Before we go into that, let's just look at two of the common diets that are used, okay? We've got the steady state fat loss diet, where it lasts for 12 weeks and people follow a rigid plan for 12 weeks. And then we've got the miracle fad crash diets that promise so much weight loss that it sounds too good to be true. Okay, so let's look at the results of those two. In the top graph here, okay, this is the steady state diet. Now, as you can see, this is the diet in weeks along the bottom, and here we've got the fat loss, okay? So, as we can see, the fat levels here, they're starting to drop, they're starting to drop, they're starting to drop, and then they plateau, and then the body, this is where now insulin and leptin have come out of sync here, so the body's metabolism is now shutting down at this point. They stay on the diet, suffering, no more weight loss, come off the diet, and then you get the rebound weight, and the weight goes back up. Okay, now, in the bottom graph, we've got the fat levels, again, down this side, and the diet in weeks along the bottom. Now, this one usually sees a great amount of weight dropped in the first couple of weeks, okay? Generally a lot of water, little bit of muscle mass maybe, depending on what's been eaten in the diet, but generally not much fat. So again, even though they weigh less on the scale, they look at themselves in the mirror, in their bikini or their underwear, and they look just the same. So it's not really a successful plan. So again, massive drops in the first couple of weeks, then that plateau, and then all of a sudden, a couple of nights off the diet, here we go, little climb, try and stay on it, little climb, body's shut down again, doesn't like it, and this is where you get big rebound weight gains on these crash diets. They just set the body up to massively rebound weight. As I said, most diets will see you have a big weight loss in 2 weeks. Now, if you're going on a juice retreat and you're eating virtually 0 calories compared to what you used to, that calorie deficit that you create in those first 2 weeks is massive, and that's why you see the weight loss. There's a lot of water in that, there's a lot of muscle in that, and you know, to be fair, I think there's very little fat, okay? And then again, when they get shipped back out, when they come back off the diet, because they're not sustainable, that's when the weight creeps back in and people think, oh, I'll try that diet again. And it's just a spiral. It goes up and down, on and on. They lose a little bit of weight, put it back on, lose a bit of weight, put it back on. And it's that revolving cycle that ties people into dieting. All right, so remember, every period of caloric restriction that you put your body through is going to see a shift in your hormonal balance. Okay, the balance between leptin and insulin, which will have an effect on your metabolism. So what are we actually looking to do as we go into this diet to help us lose fat, and how can we make it successful and keep our body in a fat burning mode? All right, so if you look at this graph now, okay, you'll see that we've got 3 lines on there: black for fat levels, blue for leptin levels, and green for insulin levels. Okay, now this is what is happening as your body goes through its diet. Okay, week 1. All right, week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 on that graph, okay? So, as we see here, the black level, the black line, the body fat level is dropping, okay? As fat level drops during that first week, so does your leptin level. So the blue line falls. As we lose fat, the blue line starts to fall. The green line starts to go up. Okay, so leptin and insulin levels now have moved away from each other, and that is now taking the body into a fat storing mode. Now, when we get to the end of the week, like we said, with a couple of high calorie day off the diet meals, okay, high calorie influx, as we break the diet on that day at the end of the week, okay, even though fat levels go up a little bit, they haven't gone back to where they were. So you haven't rebounded all the weight that you've lost during the week just by having that one meal. Okay? As that weight goes up, leptin and insulin that have ended up here way away from each other, they start to pull back together. Okay? So they come back into line. So leptin and insulin now move closer to each other, and that sets you up then for more fat loss. So in week 2, again, we start sliding down on the fat levels, insulin starts shooting up, leptin drops down as we lose fat. So again, we've come out of sync again with our hormones, but we've now lost more fat because we're down here lower than we've ever been. Okay, and then we reset the metabolism again. Sure, we might put on a little bit of weight. You might, I mean, if you weigh yourself the day after you've taken in these high calorie, breaking the diet meals, and resetting the metabolism meals, then there'll be a little bit of weight gain on the scale, but you're not worrying about weight, okay? It's fat that you're trying to lose, not muscle and not water. So again, they come back into sync. Week 3, you lose more weight, okay? At the end of the week, you have your high calorie, strategically placed reset meal. You put on a little bit of weight, leptin and insulin come back together. You go on again through the same program, you lose more weight, okay? Leptin and insulin fall apart again, reset, come back together, lose more weight. And then when you get down to here now, this is the end when you reach your target weight. Now, there's no ideal target weight. You know, I have people coming to me all the time and they say, I need to lose a stone. And I look at them and I say, why a stone? It just seems like it's a good weight to lose. Oh, I used to weigh that when I was 25, okay? They're now 40. Well, so before you set yourself a target, it's not about having a target in your head. You need to know how much weight you're trying to lose, okay? How much body fat do you have in the first place? And what do you want to get that fat level down to as a percentage of your body, okay? So that's really, really critical. Some people come in and they say to me, you know, the classic one, I need to lose a stone, I need to lose 8 kilos, 7 kilos, whatever it is. You know, and I look at them and I think, well, you don't really have that to lose. But you have to understand as well, when you go into an exercise plan in conjunction with trying to lose fat, and you're exercising the muscles, the metabolic stimulation that you put the muscles through will see a weight gain. So you don't need to worry about that. This is why the BMI is not a good test, okay? This is why measuring yourselves on the scales every week is not a good test. You need to measure yourself, taking a photo of yourself, taking body measurements of yourself, trying to fit into an old dress that you used to have once, and caliper in your skin is the best one, because you've got 4 to 12 sites that you can clip from there, and you can see that level dropping, and that's the best indication of losing fat. So that's what we're trying to achieve, okay? We're trying to get people down to here to target weights, okay? And you have to accept that in that period that you're on the diet, the weight will fluctuate. It will drop. It will increase a little bit. It will drop some more. It will increase a little bit. As long as in general, that line is coming down to there, regardless of whether you've got some peaks on it in those 6, 8, 12 weeks, however long you're following the plan for, in that way of exercising and following a nutrition plan, you should be losing at least 4 kilos a month, okay? A kilo a week, 2 pounds a week is minimal that I'd want to see people losing on a fat loss plan. Remember, that common sense equation of eat less, lose more fat doesn't work, okay? There is no sense to it. Seems like it's common sense, but it doesn't work. 2 weeks max, and it's over, okay? Here we are again in January. I'm here every year dealing with influxes of new people, and this is what I deal with week in, week out. Muesli and skim milk in the morning, soup for lunch, salad in the evening, no alcohol, blah, 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 no chocolate. I mean, it's torture. That is torture. And that is destined for a 1 week weight loss, not fat loss at best, and after that, it's all over. You're into that plateau, you're into that shutdown metabolism, and your hormones are now there, way apart from each other, okay? There is no future in that. If you're doing that right now, stop doing it, because it won't work. Just remember, your body is a smart thing, okay? It doesn't like calorie cuts. If you put it through extended period of calorie cuts, it will shut down. Hormone levels will go out of sync, and the metabolism will slow. Entering into any extended period on any of these fad diets or miracle fat loss cures that are out there will see you either lose a whole bunch of muscle and water, seriously damage your metabolism, set your body up for massive fat gains when you come off the plan, and end up with just a smaller version of the same puffy fat body that you started out with. Yes, you'll look smaller in clothes, but yes, you will be just as unhappy when you stand without clothes on in front of the mirror. So don't do it. Don't enter into that, okay? Do the right thing. Make a lifestyle change. All right, so let's get down to it. As we've said, any crash diet or slow and steady diet is not going to give you the results that you need, okay? If we look at the board here, to lose 1 kilogram of fat, okay, you need to create a deficit of 7,000 calories, okay? To lose a stone in fat, then you're looking at 49,000 calorie deficit to get you that loss, if you're gonna lose it in fat, okay? 49,000 calories. Let's look at where we're at now, okay? We've dieted for about a week, our hormone levels have adjusted, metabolism started to wane, and we're now heading into that plateau. So what did we do? We reset the hormone levels with a structured high-calorie ingestion of high-calorie foods, okay? And that brought the hormone levels back into sync. So, though we've done that, obviously, that high-calorie day has ruined, in effect, or partially ruined our calorie deficit that we cut. So, come down, but now we've put some calories back on, which means we'd lose less fat, okay? So, how do we then go to create a big calorie deficit? Well, it's simple. After you've taken the metabolism reset day with the high calorie foods, your body is now primed to take advantage of that, okay? And it's time for you to take advantage. So what I do with myself, if I'm trying to slim down, or with any of my clients who I'm working with to lose fat, We then throw in a structured low-calorie eating day, where they'll eat less calories than what they would usually eat on a normal day, okay? So the calorie intake for that day seriously reduces. So if I go for myself, for what I would do, okay, my eating pattern would look something like this. In the morning, I'd have some grapefruit and a black decaf coffee, and then at lunchtime, I'd have a couple of eggs in an omelette. Bear in mind, I'm 95 kilos, so for a lot of the people that I work with, they'd have a 1-egg omelette. But for me, I'd have 2 eggs in an omelette, and then in the afternoon or in the early evening, I'd have some fish and some salad. And throughout that day, I would also drink a lot of fluid, okay? So it'd be a lot of water. So for me, it's between 6 and 7 pints of water in that day, all right? The easiest way that I gauge that is take an overall body weight of who I'm working with, and it's 1 pint for every 15 kilos of body weight that they have. And that's a good way to flush out the system. So in that, for me, that's probably around a 2,000 calorie deficit that I've created in that day of low calories. Now, I wouldn't have eaten 2,000 calories the day before when I did the reset day. Okay, so that's where you bring in a big calorie deficit. Now, you also take advantage of that. For me, I work out on that day as well. So I'll train to a pretty high intensity, and it's not unrealistic to actually, with your calorie cut that you make in your diet, if you throw in the right kind of exercise, it's not unrealistic to lose a pound of fat in that day, which is a massive amount of calories to drop in one day. Now, some people sometimes they get skeptical about cutting calories and fasting, and I think, well, one day of cutting calories and taking seriously reduced calories is not going to hurt you. People are doing this week in, week out, month after month, struggling along and losing no weight. Okay, this is the way that over the months when I work with people, that the weight starts to come down. It comes down, you reset, it goes up a little bit. Okay, then you hit it with the low calorie day and it drops some more. Then your metabolism slows again and you break the diet again, you get a little increase, which sets you up for more fat loss. Remember, you want your fat loss to be coming down like that. Now, as long as it's going up and down in general and staying on that downward graph, then it's win for you. You will win on that. That's the way that I've consistently helped people to lose a lot of fat from their body, okay? So, low calorie day, after you've taken your high calorie reset day, is the perfect way to create a big deficit in your weekly calorie intake and set you up for huge amounts of fat loss over the weeks and the months that you stay on your eating plan, okay? Subscribe if you found this useful, please. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and any questions from anyone needs any help, contact me at mwpersonaltrainer.com. That's Mark at mwpersonaltrainer.com. Have a great day. Good luck with your diets. Remember, it's not soup and salad season. Get off it. Your body needs food. Okay, throw in some exercise as well. Remember, we don't expect you to start becoming CrossFit athletes. Just general exercise at your level, okay? It's no good worrying about what someone else can do. You worry about what you can do. Fitness is a personal battle, okay? As long as you're in a better position than you were yesterday, you're winning, okay? Good luck. Any questions, DM me.